How a poor boy became a bishop, a cardinal, and a saint. Peter Damien lost both father and mother shortly after his birth. One of his brothers adopted him but treated him with unnatural harshness, forcing him to work hard and giving him poor food and scant clothing. One day Peter found a silver piece which represented to him a small fortune. A friend told him that he could conscientiously use it for himself, as the owner could not be found. The only difficulty Peter had was to choose what it was he most needed, for he was in sore need of many things. While turning the matter over in his young mind, it struck to him that he could do a still better thing, viz., a mass said for the holy souls in Purgatory, especially for the souls of his dear parents. At the cost of a great sacrifice, he put his thought into effect and had the mass offered. The holy souls repaid his sacrifice most generously. From that day forward, a complete change became noticeable in his fortunes. His eldest brother called at the house where he lived, and horrified at the brutal hardships the little fellow was subjected to, arranged that he be handed over to his own care. He clad him and fed him as his own child, educated and cared for him most affectionately. Blessing followed blessing. Peter's wonderful talents became known, and he was rapidly promoted to the priesthood. Sometime after, he was raised to the episcopacy and finally created cardinal. Miracles attested his great sanctity to that after death he was canonized and made doctor of the church. These wonderful graces came to him after that one mass said for the holy souls. How Pius IX cured a bad memory. The venerable Pontiff Pius IX appointed a holy and prudent religious bishop of a diocese. The priest, alarmed at the responsibility put on him, begged earnestly to be excused. His protests were in vain. The Holy Father knew his merit. Overcome with apprehension, the humble religious solicited an audience with the Pope, who received him most graciously. Once more he pleaded earnestly to be excused, by the Pope was immovable. As a last recourse, Padre Tommaso told the Holy Father that he had a very bad memory, which would naturally prove to be a grave impediment in the high office put on him. Pius IX answered with a smile, "Your diocese is very small in comparison with the universal church, which I carry on my shoulders. Your cares will be very light in comparison with mine. I, too, suffered from a grave defect of memory, but I promise to say a fervent prayer daily for the holy souls, who in return have obtained for me an excellent memory. You do likewise, dear Father, and you will have cause to rejoice." We are bound to pray for the holy souls. We are always bound to love and help each other, but the greater the need of our neighbor, the more stringent and the more urgent this obligation is. It is not a favor that we may do or leave undone. It is our duty. We must help each other. It would be a monstrous crime, for instance, to refuse the poor and destitute the food necessary to keep them alive. It would be appalling to refuse aid to one in direct need, to pass by and not extend a hand to save a drowning man. Not only must we help others when it is easy and convenient, but we must make every sacrifice when need be to succor our brother in distress. Now who can be in more urgent need of our charity than the souls in purgatory? What hunger or thirst or dire sufferings on this earth can compare to their dreadful torments? Neither the poor, nor the sick, nor the suffering we can see around us have any such urgent need to our succor. Yet we find many good-hearted people who interest themselves in every other type of suffering. But alas, scarcely one who works for the holy souls, who can have more claim on us. Among them too there may be our mothers and fathers, our friends, and near of kin. God wishes us to help them. In any event, they are God's dearest friends. He longs to help them. He desires most earnestly to have them in heaven. They can never again offend Him, and they are destined to be with Him for all eternity. True, God's justice demands expiation of their sins, but by an amazing dispensation of His providence, He places in our hands the means of assisting them. He gives us the power to relieve and even release them. Nothing pleases Him more than we help them. He is as grateful to us as if we helped Himself. Our Lady wants to help them. Never did a mother of this earth love too tenderly a dying child. Never did she strive too earnestly to soothe its pains, as Mary seeks to console her suffering children in purgatory, to have them with her in heaven. We give her unbounded joy each time we take a soul out of purgatory. The more we give, the more we get. A businessman in Boston joined the Association of the Holy Souls and gave a large sum of money annually that prayers and masses might be said for them. The director of the association was surprised at the gentleman's generosity, for he knew that he was not a rich man. He asked kindly one day if the alms he so generously gave was his own offering or donations which he gathered from others. "What I offer, dear Father," he said, "is my own offering. Be not alarmed. I am not a very rich man, and you may think that I give more than I am able to do. This is not so, for far from losing my charity, the holy souls see it that I gain considerably more than I give. They are second to none in generosity." Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Take good care always.